Oh hi, don't mind me, I'm just watching the news. There's a lot of election coverage on, not surprising. There is an election on June the 8th. Have you registered to vote? Yeah, it's super easy. There's a link in the description. It takes like 2 minutes. And if you don't vote, you can't have a say on the direction of the country. This is your future, your hopes, your dreams. Speaking of dreams, ladies and gentlemen, the Segway King has struck again. Dreams fascinate me. I'm sure there's science behind them, but if you're anything like me and you don't know that science, then all you know is you go to sleep and your mind essentially invents an RPG. The most vivid, realistic RPG in the world. Like, you aren't moving, you're just lying in bed, but you go to sleep and a whole world happens in your mind and you can pick things up and you can touch things and you influence outcomes and it's like it's real. And apparently a dream only takes up a tiny portion of your sleep just before you wake up. So if you're dreaming and it's like an epic and it goes on for hours and hours, nope. At least I think that's true. I might have made it up. Science community, in the comments, explain. I can control my dreams, so sometimes I get to a point where I'm like, God, it'd be really useful if I could fly right now. And I think, well, I'm dreaming, why don't I? So I just focus and then leap into the air. And when I have a nightmare and I'm like, nope, nope, do not want, nope, no thank you. My brain waits for the tension to mount, hits a crescendo, and then goes, by the way, you're dreaming, you can wake up if you want. And I'm like, thank God. That's me waking up. Speaking of nightmares, I think they say a lot about a person. I have all the usual ones, like giant spiders, and the entire town freezing over, and all my friends are gone, and I'm left alone running away from a giant ice ray. But I also have ones like the time I cut my hair for a part, only to be told that they imagined the part with long hair, so I was left with no part and a dreadful haircut. Or the time I stole a car and drove around the one-way system in Maidstone over and over again, crying to myself about how I'd ruined my life. I'm okay. I have a note in my phone where if I wake up from a dream going, what the fuck was that? And I want to remember it, I'll write it down. Only I am sort of half asleep when I write them down, so some of the notes are malformed. I'll read you a small selection now. Having it out with Sarah Palin. This was during the election, and I dreamt that Sarah Palin was saying horrible things about Hillary, so I confronted her about it, and it turned out she was just a deeply sad person, so I sort of counselled her and listened to her problems, and then she renounced her ways and campaigned for the Democrats. That is a dream that did not come true. Space Exorcist Freaky Dream. Not a clue. Rom-coms part 1 and 2. Sometimes I dream in sequels. This one time I dreamt that me and this girl were really good friends. We had the whole day hanging out together. It was so much fun. And she was supposed to go off and have a date that evening. She sort of left to go on the date and then 2 minutes later knocked on my door and was like, I decided I want to be with you instead. And I was like, oh my God, me too. I stressed that this dream was very, very innocent. It was all very rom-com, happy colours, lovely, very happy. I woke up like, oh, that was really sweet. Went back to sleep and I was back in that house and I walked into the living room and the girl was there crying, being comforted by our friend. And apparently when she knocked on the door, I'd called her the wrong name. They were staring daggers at me and they were like, get out. Get out. So I ran out of the house and suddenly I'm on a beach and I'm running down the beach and I turn around and she's there sort of screaming at me, running after me and throwing things. I turn back around and then an X-Wing lands and I woke up. And the last one I have is probably my favourite dream of all time. Kate Winslet and I were in a castle slaying dragons, dressed up in chainmail and we have swords and it's so epic and there's various stages of this castle and we're like, we'll break up. Okay, Kate, I'll go this way, you go that way. And we sort of fight these dragons and it's dragon fighting. There's fire, there's lava in the castle. And then we burst through this door and we're at a precipice and we slay the final dragon together. We like put our swords together and it's like, yeah! And I'm like, oh my God, Kate, we slayed the dragons. And she goes, no, Dan. And then she was a dragon. Fuck you, Kate Winslet.